My daughter's missing. I guess she never made it to school this morning.
How old's your daughter?
She's 10.
Okay. What's your daughter's name?
Jessica Ridgeway.
This FBI evidence response team on standby, soon putting on gloves, covering their shoes, then walking in the front door, inside, outside, looking for any sign of Jessica.
Late Wednesday night, police announced a body had been found near a park in the Denver suburb of Arvada. At this point, they won't officially confirm it is 10-year-old Jessica Ridgeway, but multiple police sources tell ABC News they believe it is the girl's body.
I feel bad that I dismissed it.
When Emily Alexander's 11-year-old daughter said she knew who kidnapped Jessica, no one believed her.
She goes, "Mom, oh my God, I know who did it." And I go, "Who?" And she goes,
Jessica Ridgeway loved school. She woke herself up every morning, picked out her clothes, packed her own snack. On a snowy October morning, she said goodbye to her mother and stepped outside for a 5-minute walk to school, a walk she had taken countless times before. She never made it. What no one knew was that the person who took her had already tried and failed to abduct someone else. Instead of stopping, he changed his plan. By the time police realized Jessica was missing, she was already dead. What officers would later uncover was so disturbing, it permanently changed the people who worked the case. Westminster, Colorado, a quiet suburban city, tucked neatly between Denver and Boulder. The kind of place people describe as safe, comfortable, predictable. Stanley Lake glows during sunset. Rocky Mountain views stretch across the horizon. Long green trails trace Big Dry Creek. Families gather at the Westminster Promenade for dinner, movies, and late-night walks. Calm, familiar, routine.
Whoa! Want to be on camera?
This is where 10-year-old Jessica Ridgeway lived. She shared a home with her mother, her grandmother, and her aunt. She was born to Sarah and Jeremiah Ridgeway. Her parents weren't together anymore. Her father lived in Missouri, but Jessica was close to both of them. She was a 5th grader at Witt Elementary School, where she was known for one thing above all else: joy. Teachers described her as bright, kind, and endlessly curious. The first hand raised in class, the kid who struck up conversations, just to make new friends. She loved learning, loved dancing, loved animals. She made up songs and routines constantly. She adored shows, like Victorious and Wizards of Waverly Place. And once she decided to do something, she never quit. Her grandmother later said, Jessica was almost always happy. On a cold, snowy morning October 5, 2012, Jessica woke up at 7:45 a.m. Recently, she'd asked her mom for an alarm clock. She wanted independence. She wanted to wake herself up. She watched TV, ate a granola bar, changed her clothes, then peeled an orange with her mom to bring to school. Wrapped in her warm coat, she said goodbye and stepped outside. She was supposed to meet friends at Chelsea Park, just 5 minutes away. They always walked to school together. But Jessica never arrived. Her friends waited, then eventually kept walking. They didn't want to be late. And Jessica was never late. She never missed school. By 10 a.m., teachers knew something was wrong. They called her mother. But Sarah had just finished a night shift, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. After walking Jessica out that morning, she went straight to bed. She didn't hear the call. The voicemail sat unheard until 4:30 p.m. When Sarah listened, disbelief set in. There had to be a mistake. She drove past the park, went to the school, knocked on doors at her daughter's friends' homes. No one had seen Jessica. That's when she called the Westminster police. The second Sarah called 911, fear became real.
My daughter's missing. I guess she never made it to school this morning.
How old's your daughter?
She's 10.
Okay. What's your daughter's name?
Jessica Ridgeway.
This wasn't a late child or a misunderstanding. Someone had taken her. By 9:15 p.m., investigators had enough information to believe Jessica had been kidnapped. Soon after, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation issued an Amber Alert.
I want to show you this little girl's picture, Jessica Ridgeway. She never made it to school, and right away the school called the little girl's mother. The mom works nights, so she didn't get the message until much later in the day, and that's what's bringing us to where we are right now. A massive search taking place. Right now, police along with the CBI have issued an Amber Alert, and the reason is this. It's because of the amount of time that has passed since she was last seen.
At least 50 police officers, including the FBI, are searching right now. When we start with an 8-hour delay or a delay as substantial as this, the distance that she could have wandered, even on her own, just gets huge.
Police say Jessica's father, who lives out of state, is in a custody battle with Jessica's mother. They do not believe Jessica is with him, but are not ruling anyone out.
We don't have a person of interest, and we're going to look at every angle.
Nothing like this has really ever happened. Like, it's always surprising when something happens here.
So as you can hear from that interview, this is a very serious situation. Normally Jessica meets some friends at a park, which is just about 3 blocks from her home. Then the entire group walks to Witt Elementary. The girls that she usually walks with have been interviewed. They did not see her today, but at such a young age, as of 10 years old, they just did not think much of it. Again, we do want to show the picture.
But by then, it was already dark. Temperatures dropped. Firefighters deployed thermal imaging. Powerful lights flooded Chelsea Park. A helicopter was considered, but the cold made it unsafe. Ice could form on the rotor blades. Around 2 a.m., volunteers were told to go home and return later. A command center was established. Search and rescue teams mobilized. Hundreds of people joined the effort. Officers searched homes, backyards, creeks, open fields, everything. They spoke with an enormous number of people and collected 500 DNA samples. Officers were stationed at crosswalks and photographed every vehicle entering and leaving the neighborhood. Purple ribbons appeared everywhere, Jessica's favorite color. At her desk in the classroom, they found Jessica's notebook with her completed homework inside. On one of the pages she had written, "Don't play in the park alone, and be careful of strangers." She was known for being very cautious and aware of her surroundings. Investigators believed only 2 possibilities remained. She trusted someone she knew and was lured away, or she was taken suddenly without warning. But the idea that Jessica would have approached a stranger or spoke to someone she didn't know didn't fit her personality. Very quickly the local police department found themselves needing help. Therefore, the FBI joined in, and 12 other agencies followed. More than 1,000 people worked through nearly 10,000 tips. Even as their world had been shattered, Jessica's parents did everything investigators asked. They gave DNA. They answered every question. They opened their lives completely. Early on, police ruled them out. Nothing pointed inward. Everything pointed elsewhere, to a stranger abduction.
And Mike, the FBI Mobile Evidence Response Team unit, they were inside this home much of the afternoon for about 2 hours. They've since left, but they first arrived not even 10 minutes after the Ridgeway family left the home. The search for Jessica Ridgeway intensifies in the air, on the ground, next door.
Closets, boxes, drawers, everything.
Honing in within the neighborhood she first went missing from Friday. Canvassing, questioning, investigators going door to door, search dogs checking this garage, Jessica's backyard. All morning, the search surrounded the Ridgeway family home until Jessica's mother and those inside loaded up and were driven away. The home not empty for long. This FBI evidence response team on standby, soon putting on gloves, covering their shoes, then walking in the front door, inside, outside, looking for any sign of Jessica.
She's real bubbly, full energy. She's played basketball right there.
Holding on to the hope that she'll be safe, home soon.
Find her safe. Hopefully.
I think all of us are still believing that and keeping the hope. We got to keep hope.
On October 7, 2012, 2 days after Jessica disappeared, the search shifted. In the Rock Creek subdivision of Superior, about 6 miles from where she was last seen, a man noticed something out of place. A backpack sat on the sidewalk. Inside were a pair of glasses, a water bottle, and clothing that smelled of urine. Attached was a keychain with a single name, Jessica. Not realizing what he was looking at, the man shared what he'd found online, hoping someone would recognize it and return it to its owner. Eventually, someone did, and they called 911. Police quickly secured the area. The search was no longer just about where Jessica might be, but what had already happened to her.
A new aerial and dog search for Jessica Ridgeway after a Superior man and his neighbor found what police believe is the missing 10-year-old's backpack. The man did not want to go on camera, but tells 7 News he first noticed the bag Saturday night but didn't think anything of it. Another neighbor, unaware of its significance, later posted the discovery on a neighborhood listserv this afternoon, saying, quote, "Water bottle has Jessica Ridgeway name on it. Come and get it." That's when police were called.
But obviously, Identifying that we believe it is her backpack is something that allows our investigation some focus. It also broadens and expands that investigation.
The backpack, a turning point in the search for Jessica. All weekend, investigators admitted they had few leads on what happened to her after she left her home Friday morning for school. The key now, establishing when the backpack was dropped off more than 6 miles from Jessica's home.
We're not going to go into depth to protect the investigation and talk about the contents that were in there, but there are discoveries that we believe ties this to the Jessica case.
Later, Sarah would say that in that moment, she felt a sliver of hope. Maybe her daughter was still out there. On October 9, 2012, 4 days after Jessica disappeared, her family stepped outside for the first time to speak publicly. Until then, doing so had felt unbearable.
And this is the first time we are hearing from Jessica's mother and father. Both deny any involvement in her disappearance. Both are holding out hope, even though it's been 5 days since she was last seen alive.
She's my rock. She's all of our rock.
A mother.
The bright voice of my little girl. She needs to come home.
And a father.
I try to stay positive about it, but yeah, it's hard.
I watch her walk out the door and I shut the door, and that's the last time I saw her, and I want to come walking back through that door. You get the pit in your stomach that you don't want any parent to ever experience in their whole entire life, that you know your child has just been taken. That is not ever anything I want any parent to go through.
Over the weekend, a glimpse of optimism for the family when Jessica's backpack and water bottle were found in another subdivision 6 miles away.
I felt a sliver of hope. I figured, if something really bad happened to her, they wouldn't have got rid of the backpack just sitting there.
I just want to find my daughter. I just want her back home.
What no one knew then was that the search was already moving in a different direction. Another discovery was made, one that was unmistakable, irreversible, and devastating. Whatever hope remained was gone. On October 10, 2012, the day after Jessica's family first spoke publicly, 6 miles from Jessica's home, around 2 p.m., maintenance workers found a heavy bag by the roadside along 82nd Street near the Patridge Park open space area in Arvada. Police were notified immediately. The area was locked down within minutes. What had begun as a missing child investigation officially became a homicide scene. Police found a torso in 2 black bags. Other body parts were still missing. The remains were not intact, requiring careful forensic work to confirm the identity. Prosecutors later said the way her body had been placed was meant to ensure it would be found. Detectives, FBI agents, and forensic teams flooded the open space, carefully documenting every detail. Soon after, forensic testing confirmed what investigators already feared. The remains belonged to Jessica Ridgeway. Any hope of finding her alive was gone. Police also found a wooden cross at the scene. Investigators described the discovery as a critical piece of evidence. Investigators soon connected Jessica's case to an earlier incident, one that had occurred 4 months earlier. On May 28, 2012, Memorial Day, a 22-year-old woman who was jogging near Kettner Lake was attacked from behind. A man pressed a cloth soaked in chloroform over her face and dragged her into the bushes. Somehow, she managed to break free and escape. The description she could provide was limited. The attacker was a white male, approximately 5'6" to 5'8", with an average build. What made the connection even more disturbing was the location. The attack occurred near Wood Elementary. Along the same path Jessica was believed to be walking that morning. Investigators sent the DNA for comparison. They were hoping to rule it out. They couldn't. The DNA matched. It wasn't 2 crimes, it was 1 attacker. Authorities warned the public about a dangerous offender. Fear spread, and the community came together to mourn.
She's safe and sound in a place where no one can ever hurt her.
An emotional evening as an entire community remembers Jessica Ridgeway. Family, friends, and those from her neighborhood packing a memorial service tonight to remember the 10-year-old who died in an abduction.
7 News reporter Molly Hendrickson at tonight's memorial. To her family, she was just a normal little girl. Like most 10-year-olds, she loved sleepovers.
Just think of us together.
Liked to fish and find frogs, and had an affinity for animals.
And this is my dog.
Jessica was always doing silly things that would make you want to shake your head at her. She brought light to everyone's lives, and she had a profound impact on everyone that she met.
Over the last 11 days, she has both captured and broken our hearts. We have hoped, searched, and grieved. Her story has become the community's, and they've come to honor her legacy.
Those of us involved in this case, unfortunately, never had the privilege of knowing your wonderful daughter. But I can honestly tell you, we feel like we did. We feel like she's part of our family, and we feel like we've lost part of our family.
A girl who wanted one day to be a cheerleader, loved Disney, and loved playing with her friends. Ordinary. Perhaps that's what made her so special.
You have wrapped us in your collective arms, and we are here to share our precious little Jessica with you, because now she is not just our ordinary little girl, she is everyone's ordinary little girl.
After investigators released images and details of a wooden cross found near the remains, a woman in the neighborhood recognized it. She lived near the Sigg family and contacted authorities to share her concerns. She knew a teenager nearby who owned a very similar cross, 17-year-old Austin Sigg, who lived with his mother, Mindy Sigg. Based on that tip, investigators began looking more closely at Austin. He was soon contacted by detectives for an initial interview. During this meeting, he denied involvement and told detectives that on the day Jessica disappeared, he was at home and asleep. He voluntarily provided a DNA sample, and investigators collected it. At that time, he was released. There was no evidence to warrant charges. Later, when investigators reviewed the DNA submissions, they discovered Austin Sigg's envelope contained no results. No test had ever been run. The absence was mistaken for a clearance, allowing him to slip through unnoticed. On October 22, 2012, public attention on the case increased. News organizations reported on a potential DNA connection between Jessica's murder and an earlier attempted assault on a jogger.
Police have been very quiet today here at the Westminster Police Department, but they did confirm for 7 News a direct connection now between the Jessica Ridgeway case and the attack and assault on a jogger back in May in Kettner Park. Today, there was no search activity in the Patridge Park open space, but there were dozens of visitors at the memorial near the location where Jessica's body was discovered. You'll recall 10-year-old Jessica Ridgeway went missing on October 5th, and her remains were discovered 5 days later on Wednesday, October 10th. In the other case, a young woman was jogging and was attacked in the Kettner Park open space on Memorial Day weekend. She survived that assault.
That same day, Austin Sigg reported feeling unwell. He complained of physical weakness. That night, he slept in his mother's bed. The following morning, Austin told his mother there was something he needed to tell her. She immediately asked him a direct question. She asked whether it was about Jessica Ridgeway. In later statements, Mindy Sigg said she could not explain why she asked that question. When Austin confirmed her fear, his mother was visibly shaken. She struggled to process what she was hearing. Austin told her he knew what this meant, that he would be going to prison. She agreed. She told him there was only one thing left to do. They had to call the police. When Austin asked her to make the call, she did. She picked up the phone and dialed 911.
Hi, this is Molly at Westminster Police. Can I help you?
Hi, I need you to come to my house. My son wants to turn himself in for the Jessica Ridgeway murder.
Okay, what's the address? Ma'am,
Not hear me. He just confessed to killing her.
I know. I want you to tell me what's going on. Can you tell me exactly what he said?
But he did it, and he gave me details, and her remains are in my house.
Did you see them?
No.
Is he there with you?
Yes.
Is he cooperative?
Yes.
How old is your son?
17.
What is your son's name?
Austin Sigg.
Okay, I understand that you're probably, feeling pretty crappy right now, but I want you to know that you did the right thing. By calling?
He did it. He just wanted me to call. He is turning himself in.
Okay. Do you think that he's going to be cooperative with the officers?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you think that Austin would talk to me?
Will you talk to him? Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Hello?
Is this Austin?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Austin. This is Molly at the Westminster Police Department.
Hi.
Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on right now, or how you're feeling, or how did this come about?
I don't exactly get why you're asking these questions. I murdered Jessica Ridgeway.
Okay.
I have proof that I did it. There is no other question. You just have to send a squad car, something down here, and I will answer all the questions that you want to ask, or anyone wants to ask of me as soon as you gotta get down here.
Okay. Austin, I have a police officer that's going to come over to your house, okay? Can you tell me what part of the house that her remains are in?
Underneath the house and across this.
18 days after Jessica Ridgeway disappeared, Austin Sigg was brought in for questioning. During the interview, he revealed the chilling truth of what he had done. He admitted to killing Jessica, and he admitted that months earlier, he had attempted to abduct a jogger. Using homemade chloroform, the jogger fought back and escaped. In later statements to police, Austin explained that the failed attack stayed with him and influenced his thinking afterward. Investigators asked what he would have done if the jogger had not escaped. Austin said he would have done the same thing.
Go on and tell me what happened after you grabbed her.
She screamed and I told her to be quiet, and I used zip ties to zip tie her hands and legs together, and then I hopped in front of my car and I drove her around for probably a good 10-20 minutes. I asked her if she had a cell phone, looked for that. She kept asking me questions, and I would answer them, and I would lie to her. I would tell her that everything was going to be okay, and I would just lie to her.
On the morning she was taken, Jessica was outside near the park, playing in the snow, doing what she always did. Nearby, Austin Sigg parked his Jeep in the neighborhood. He waited. At some point, he moved into the back seat of the vehicle. As Jessica walked past, Sigg suddenly jumped out, grabbing her and forcing her inside the Jeep as she screamed. No one was nearby to hear her or stop him. Inside the vehicle, he restrained her arms and legs with plastic zip ties. Later, Sigg would tell investigators, "Random place, random time, just random everything. And the second I pulled her into the car, I already knew she was going to die." He said Jessica asked him questions repeatedly, who he was, whether he knew her mother. He lied, telling her she would be okay, telling her she was going home. Instead, he drove her to his house. What followed is known largely through Sigg's own statements.
And I took her up to my room. And I sat her in my room, and I played Netflix on the TV for her. It was either like Family Guy or something. I don't remember. It was some cartoon. I just kind of sat there. I sat there and I stared at her, and I just remember absolutely blankness in my head, having no thoughts, nothing. And it terrified me. And after sitting there for probably an hour, maybe, I don't exactly remember, time kind of started feeling weird then. After that, I asked her to change into a pair of a shirt and shorts that I had, and I let her go into the bathroom to do that. And
She came back, told her to put all her clothes in her backpack and get her backpack ready and everything to go back.
He claimed he removed the zip ties from her wrists and put cartoons on for her, repeatedly reassuring her that she would be going home soon. He said Jessica had wet herself and that he made her change clothes, giving her a white t-shirt and black shorts. He also said he cut her hair. According to Sigg, he then told her to turn her back to him. He then strangled her. Sigg later admitted that when he abducted Jessica, he was driven by a strong sexual urge, though he insisted no sexual assault occurred. He told investigators he dismembered her body in his bathtub, placing her torso into bags, and temporarily storing them in a small structure on the property, before eventually disposing of them. He said he removed and identified each organ individually, claiming his knowledge came from studying forensic science. He told investigators that he believed successful serial killers were those who knew how to make a body disappear.
I had never fully thought, and I had never actually fully planned through what I was going to do with it, what I was going to do, any of that. It just...
Well, when you went out that morning, Friday morning, October 5th, which was early in the morning, and you drove over to Jessica's neighborhood, what were you planning on doing that day?
I had the intent of picking up any female that came across where I was. That it didn't matter what time, where, it just anything.
So you were out, for a better word, hunting?
Yeah, that's the only word I could think of.
And did you know Jessica?
No.
Had you ever seen her before?
No, not at all. She was wrong place, wrong time. It was all random. I was...
You didn't stalk the neighborhood or go over to that neighborhood and was looking for her? Have you been out before looking for somebody?
I had gone out before hunting, as you would call it, and I had never even remotely gotten close to anything or even been able to... Anytime that I would even see someone walking while I was out in one of those modes, my heart would just instantly start beating really fast, and I couldn't think straight. I don't know.
Was that some of the thrill that you got by going out and doing this? Was there a thrill aspect to it?
I've been trying to figure that out for a while now.
Sigg later directed police to where the remaining body parts had been hidden, in the crawlspace beneath the house. That is where they were found. He also admitted to attempting to flush parts of her body down the toilet. The attempt failed. Investigators later discovered human tissue in the home's sewer pipes, confirming what he had told them. By the time the search for Jessica was fully underway, she was already gone. Hours into the interrogation, detectives uncovered a critical mistake. Austin Sigg's DNA envelope contained no results. The sample had never been tested. A new analysis was ordered immediately. This time, the results were unmistakable. The DNA matched Jessica's case, and the earlier attack on the jogger. Sigg's Jeep was towed and examined. Inside, investigators found broken plastic zip ties. At the time, Deputy District Attorney Hal Sargent said, the way Jessica's belongings were discarded sent a deliberate message. The glasses tell you she is dead, he said, along with the jacket, socks, and clothing that smelled of urine. Sigg had long expressed an obsession with death, and had aspirations of becoming a mortician. He was studying mortuary science at a local college. He told investigators his exposure to child sexual abuse material began at age 12. By his own account, he was deeply disturbed. He admitted to spending hours online, consuming increasingly violent content. Sigg's parents had divorced years earlier, but continued working together, trying to help their son. In 2008, they took him to a faith-based counselor, an effort he later said didn't help. He described the escalation as gradual, a slow progression that took hold, before he realized how far it had gone. In 2009, a doctor contacted his father, and urged him to closely monitor and restrict his access to televisions and computers.
What kind of guy
is he? I mean, is he the kind of guy that could murder a little girl?
He's a smart. We never thought, like, it was shocking.
He was the kid that went around school, and like the kids who walked down the hall alone, he would walk with you. He was one of those that always talked to everybody, always said hi to everybody, knew everybody. He was so nice.
When's the last time any of you talked to him or saw him?
I saw him like last week. I saw him last week. We didn't think anything would happen.
Just the other day, because he lives up the street from me.
He lives down the street.
Yeah.
We grew, like, seriously, we grew up with this kid, so we didn't understand why he would do this. We didn't even see it coming.
What was he into? What kind of stuff was he interested in?
He loves computers.
Video games.
Very smart.
He liked spending time with family and his girlfriend and all that.
Your reaction that police have arrested him in connection with the Ridgeway case?
Shocked. I could never ever imagine that it would have been him. I knew it was someone, and I had a feeling they would be in this area, but I never knew it would be him.
Again, that was Brooke Oles, who is a neighbor of the suspect, Austin Sigg. She's known him for about 9 years, and like all the other neighbors that we've spoken with today, they were surprised, grateful that police have made an arrest in a case, but very surprised that it turned out to be a 17-year-old boy who is the suspect.
It's all I've got within me to not want to just burn him.
The anger coming from Jessica Ridgeway's great-grandmother brewed for nearly 3 weeks until Donna Moss got a call from a family member with Wednesday's news.
I was at work, and so my daughter called me and she said, Mom, they found him. Really angry, and I'm really hurt that this person has done this.
Let me have at him. Let me have at him, and I'll take care of justice myself.
Family members admit they never expected a suspect so young and wonder how that could affect his punishment if convicted of murder. Sigg lives near Ridgeway School.
She's in my heart forever. I'll memorialize her forever in my heart.
I feel bad that I dismissed it.
When Emily Alexander's 11-year-old daughter said she knew who kidnapped Jessica, no one believed her.
She goes, Mom, oh my God, I know who did it. And I go, who? And she goes, the goth teenager from the park.
At this park just down the road, she says a teenage boy had been acting strangely, staring at her daughter, walking by their home.
And she pointed him out right across the street from our house.
So when she saw the face all over the news, she recognized that stare immediately. So did Christy Mueller.
When I saw his mugshot, it's like I literally took a step back and it just hit me.
Twice last summer, while running on this trail near Stanley Lake, she saw Austin Sigg walking with 2 friends, and something wasn't quite right.
And I made eye contact, and that's what I thought was so weird, is that I said hello and they just looked at me and didn't say anything to me. Just having my dog is just extra protection, so I think he's what saved me.
Emily Alexander says her daughter's friends may have been what saved her.
If she had been at the park alone, there's no telling, what could have happened. I should have let her know that the moment she feels uncomfortable, that she should trust that, and that, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Austin Sigg was charged as an adult. He faced 17 separate charges, including 4 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of kidnapping, although he denied committing sexual assault. Prosecutors also charged him with sexual assault of a child, robbery, and sexual exploitation of a minor, after investigators discovered child sexual abuse material on his electronic devices. In the case involving the earlier jogger attack, Austin was charged with attempted first-degree murder, attempted kidnapping, and attempted sexual assault. Austin's father released a public statement saying, "There are no words my family and I can use to express the grief we feel for the pain others are enduring. This horrific event is a tragedy for both families and for the entire community. I also ask for your prayers and support for Austin's mother. Her courageous and unimaginably painful action helped set this tragedy on a path toward resolution." Mindy, the mother who turned her own son in, later said she was haunted by an overwhelming sense of guilt. She said she couldn't escape the thought that she was the one who brought him into this world. Austin initially pleaded not guilty to all charges, despite his later admissions and confession, because he was 17 years old. At the time of the murder, the death penalty was not an option under Colorado law. However, if convicted, he faced the possibility of life in prison with eligibility for parole after 40 years. His defense attorney argued that Austin's actions were impulsive, and that even Austin himself struggled to explain why he did what he did. The defense also raised mitigating arguments about his prenatal environment and early childhood, including claims about exposure to paint fumes, a difficult birth, and family instability. Though these were contested and did not change the outcome, they further argued that Austin grew up in a broken home, following his parents' divorce, and referenced his father's prior legal troubles as part of a broader claim that his upbringing contributed to his actions. Clinical psychologist Dr. Anna Salter strongly disagreed with the defense's portrayal of Sigg's motivations. She stated there was no evidence that he had been physically abused as a child. Apart from his parents' divorce, his home life appeared stable, and he had support from his family. According to Dr. Salter, Austin showed no compassion whatsoever for Jessica Ridgeway. This was not an impulsive act that he later regretted, not even close.
I don't think that the defendant has the right to hear how he affected me, my family, or who Jessica was. Once we walk out of this courtroom, we'll not remember his name.
A powerful message for her daughter's killer after hearing chilling testimony about the last hours of Jessica Ridgeway's short life.
He said himself that the moment she was in the car, he knew she was dead.
Dr. Anna Salter described Austin Sigg as a sadist.
They get a high from torture.
The 10-year-old, she says, repeatedly asked him if she was going to see her mother again as he cut her hair, made her change into his clothes, and then killed her.
This was not an impulse that he had, and then he felt horrible afterwards.
But it wasn't until this video tribute of the little girl in oversized goggles and sleeping in her pajamas her killer showed any emotion, wiping away tears before leaving in cuffs.
I cannot help but have joy and relief in my heart because my lovely little Jessica is safe in a place where no one can ever hurt her again.
Just 2 days before his trial was set to begin, Austin Sigg changed his plea. In court, on October 1, 2013, he pled guilty to 15 charges, including first-degree murder, sexual assault of a minor, kidnapping, attempted kidnapping, and sexual exploitation of a minor. He was given a life sentence for Jessica's murder, with a minimum of 40 years before parole eligibility, and the judge imposed an additional 86 years for his other crimes, ensuring he will never be released. He will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Austin refused to address the court and showed no emotion while the sentence was read. Jessica's community never forgot her. In her honor, residents established memorials, including a playground dedication, purple ribbons throughout town, and community projects in her name. Initiatives such as the Lassie Project and the Jessica Ridgeway Cheer Camp continue to support children and honor her memory. Her mother later gave birth to another daughter, and she believes Jessica watches over her.
The reminders of her are everywhere.
Lots of purple.
Her sweet 10-year-old smile.
Her pictures everywhere.
Her favorite color.
We all still wear purple. Purple's everywhere in our house.
I think she makes her presence known.
That's how Sarah Pindell Ridgeway and her family remember Jessica.
We still talk about her. She still exists for us.
5 years ago, Sarah's only daughter, Jessica, was killed on her way to school.
Yes, it's hard, and it's the hardest thing that anybody could possibly do is to move forward.
Her only child.
I need to remember who she was and who I would have hoped she would have become, and know that I need to keep moving forward. She was born October 15th.
This year, Jessica Ridgeway became a big sister.
Anna Christine Pindell Ridgeway, her and her sister share the same middle name, and then
her eyes are blue, different blue than Jessica's, but they're blue.
She loves her hands. They're her favorite thing in the whole wide world.
The whole family is in love.
Oh, Anna.
I think Jessica would be enamored.
She's very much ever present. We talk to Jessica, and I think she kind of turns her head. It looks like she's talking to somebody over in the distance, so I think her sister definitely comes and visits and leaves her little sparkly way around. And
Mom and Grandma say they'll tell Anna all about Jessica's sparkle as soon as she's old enough.
I'm mostly going to say that, she has a big sister that left before she was born.
They want to raise her without fear.
I'm going to try not to let what happened overshadow how I raise Anna, because I don't want her to be smothered a little bit. I want her to be able to have her own little life.
A life full of love.
My heart expands.
With her sister always there.
She's not replaced, she's just expanded.
She definitely has an extra special angel watching over her.